Hey guys, and welcome to the Green Pod to the Green Pod, brought to you by Jsec. I'm Andrew, and I'll be the host for Green Pod, and today we're joined by Nick, the president of Jsec. Uh, so quickly, to explain the structure of the podcast, the Green Pod is actually linked to the blog that JSAC is currently running, and you can see that blog, and you can read these blog posts at www.jsecjmsb.ca/blog. So Nick, um, can you please give us a brief history of what JSEC of what JSEC of what JSEC is doing?
Yeah, for sure. Well, first off, I'm honored to be your first guest on the podcast, Andrew. Um, I'm really glad we're starting this. You know, who knows where it could take us. So I'll just explain JSEC real quick for people who don't know who we are and what we do. JSEC is a business sustainability group in the John Molson School of Business. So it was created in 2015. The business sustainability group in Concordia actually started in 2005. However, in 2015, it's separated into a graduate group, John Molson Sustainable Business Group, and an undergraduate group, which is us, JSEC. So that happened in 2015, and ever since we've been happily serving our mission to spread sustainability throughout the business school. So yes, JSEC stands for the John Molson Sustainable Enterprise Committee. Our mission is to spread sustainability throughout the business school. Our vision is to just see business and sustainability operating as one, as well as show students how they can use business frameworks to leverage sustainable ideas and what sustainability can do for businesses themselves. Some of our values, obviously, like equality, equity, long-term thinking, and making sure everybody has a voice. And we like to. I don't know. What do you think some of our values are at
and
JSEC?
and probably because we're in JMSB, profit,
Yeah, but
long term sustainable profit.
yes, yeah. We I would say the triple bottom line, right? So people, planets, and then profit. So um, yeah, that's definitely our values right there. We have our main objectives each year. We have three objectives. We bring business to sustainability. We bring sustainability to business, and we institutionalize sustainability at JMSB. And each year we we do things to try to further all of these objectives. Yeah, that's what we do.
Beautiful. Um, Beautiful. And what are and can you give me uh and uh, um can you give me like some of the events that Jsec um, currently does?
Absolutely. So we do events and we do projects. So it's not just events. And this is kind of how we like through our offerings. This is how we achieve our objectives. So with our events, we do a number of events per year, ranging from events to just have students come meet the JSEC team and interact with us, all the way to huge conferences that we hope to reach, people in JMSB and even beyond that. So on one end of the scale, like I said, you have events like our meet and greet, which is more of a fun event where we can mingle with, where JSEC and the JMSB student body can mingle and, network with each other, get to know each other, let people know what we're about. In the middle, we have smaller workshops and panels, and these are the goal of these smaller, 1 to 2 hour events, whether it's online or in person, is to just teach students about a specific topic in sustainability. Whether it's a panel to just give them some informational knowledge, or to do more of a workshop that's actually hands-on with students, letting them practice applying their skills and knowledge. Some examples of those would be, we did a design thinking workshop. We're going to be doing a panel about recycled plastic, and we're going to be doing a sustainable finance one. So those are examples of the smaller 1 to 2 hour workshops. Well, the sustainable finance will be a little bit longer than 2 hours, but and then on the big end of the events, we have our annual conference, the Bbt Conference. This is made up of 6 panels and workshops, as well as networking opportunities. And this is it's just it's a whole day of, sustainability. It's the longest running sustainability conference in Montreal. So that will be happening in January. That one's really cool. Watch out for that one. And we're also this year doing we're helping to orchestrate a case competition, and there's going to be a pretty big cash prize for that. So definitely everyone should look into that if you're a student. So those are the events we do. And other things we do are more projects and initiatives. And one thing I wanted to focus on this year was giving JSEC executives the chance to do their own projects and initiatives. It's something that the last president did for us during COVID, which I really appreciated, because I started a project that I was really proud of, and I thought it created a lot of value for students and myself. So I wanted to do the same thing for people this year. So that's why we're doing the podcast.
What was that project that you made?
Yeah, so I started the JSEC Mentorship program over the summer of COVID, because we were going into a year of complete uncertainty, and I wanted students to still be able to connect with each other and the sustainable business world. So I created a mentorship program that paired employees that are currently working in a job related to, or a company related to, sustainability, and students who are interested in that. So that was something I was really proud of and really enjoyed running that program. So that's why I really value the projects that we do. So some of the other projects we do are this blog, which also was started last year, which does provide a lot of value again. And we did also last year a merch project. So you can see Andrew's wearing our hoodie that is ethically made and environmentally friendly. So you can, I think you can buy one of those on our website. Some projects that are new to this year, however, are an academic guide, which I think was highly lacking. It's like you can find this guide on our website. It really consolidates all of it's a student's guide to sustainability at JMSB. So you can find all this classes about sustainability, groups on campus related to sustainability, um, opportunities to get involved with sustainability. It's really your one-stop shop as a JMSB student if you want to learn more about sustainability. And of course, the last project is this podcast.
Which we will hopefully like continue
Yeah,
for years to come, hopefully.
we will.
Um, and so like, can you please give us um um uh some some examples of past partnerships that Jsec has 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 collaborated with for their students?
Absolutely. So, one thing about sustainability, well, I guess everything in general is just if you collaborate, you can reach a lot more people and you have a lot more resources going to the same goal. So, when we collaborate with student associations, we're mostly collaborating on events and projects. And we collaborate, like I said, to reach a greater audience, but also to combine domains, right? So the sustainable finance event we're doing later this year will be in collaboration with FISA, the Finance and Investment Student Association. And it just marries the two so well. Like there's so much to know about that topic. You can go into so many different areas within sustainable finance that, we bring the sustainability knowledge, they bring the
Yeah.
finance knowledge, and it's a really beautiful thing. I think a nice collaboration, like you said, we love to collaborate. Um,
Yeah.
when we do, when we collaborate with other companies, we we really do our due diligence about, who are we partnering with. It's imperative that their vision and values are in line with ours, because as the business sustainability group in JMSB, we have to set the example about sustainability and doing collaborations with companies that are sustainable or have are socially and environmentally conscious. So that's kind of our criteria for working and partnering with companies. And we also, and with companies, we'll invite them to do workshops, events, and yeah, it's also like a great. I think we have, like, with the design thinking workshop, we partnered with IBM and some of their sustainability consultants, and they're the most down to earth, nicest people who are so knowledgeable about sustainability. It's like that one was really fun. So, and then we also like work with other Concordia groups that are not within JMSB, and that's the beauty of sustainability, is collaborating with, or like that's the beauty of JSEC is I really like how we bridge the gap between business and sustainability. So we can work with, I think last year we did an event with a poli-sci teacher, and we
Wow.
just go outside the bounds of JMSB, because at the end of the day, sustainability is so much more than just business. And so yeah, we're constantly like working with and promoting other subs and groups on social media because of our similar mission. So that's who JSEC looks to partner with. And if someone wants to reach out and partner with us, feel free to.
Yes, that is like because partnering with companies especially is what legitimizes JSEC.
Yeah.
Sorry. Um. So Nick, tell us tell us more about yourself. Like, like, first of all, where do you come from, and what do you currently study at JMSB?
All right. So where do I come from? Well, I was born in Arizona, but I moved to Massachusetts in the States when I was 10, and then I came to Concordia when I was a young boy. No, when I can't remember, like 18 or 19. Um, I started out as an international business major, and last winter I switched my major to BTM. Um, and I always thought that, I wanted to learn more about, or I wanted to get educated in the realm of technology because, I really see it as an enabler to the future, really. I think that's why um, I think there's so many things you can do with it. It's a pretty like um, what's the word? It's like you can really do anything in that field.
Like what you're like, I think what you're trying to say is that technology is currently like the current way of like pushing the status quo of changing the status
Hmm.
quo.
Yeah, exactly. My minor though, so I started. I'm I'm kind of I went off the beaten path for my minor, so I started in my minor was diversity in the contemporary world, which is actually at Loyola campus. So it's not a business minor, it's a Loyola campus minor. I don't know what you would call that exactly, but I'll never. I chose that because actually my grandpa he told me, um, he said university is really good, but make sure that you get a really well-rounded education. And I didn't. I chose that minor at the Loyola campus, so I got kind of a different perspective. I have the business perspective being from JMSB. I think all of us students can agree JMSB is like a really great school, and I feel like I learn a lot, or just like I get a lot of value from being at JMSB. But um, I think by having the minor, and I eventually switched my minor into the sustainability studies at Loyola. So that's my minor. That's my current minor, sustainability studies. By having the business major and a alternative minor, I think it gives like that's kind of where my journey on sustainability started because it gives you a different perspective on business itself and how like the impacts that business have outside of an organization, which you know I'll get more into that in my blog post. But yeah, that's like how I that's my major and minor really.
Yeah. So you kept on like changing your mind as to what was like as to what you wanted to do, which is basically what most university students do, because because no one really knows what they want to do until they have tried to really to really like learn many things in different fields. And I think what you were talking about with your grandfather about getting a, a well a well-rounded university experience, I think personally, like I think it's a vital way of 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 um, enhancing your university experience, and then b being being more knowledgeable with different fields. Because you don't know what you'll do in 20 years time. Maybe you will change to a completely different um type of 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 work, and there is one part that you learned in in Concordia that will like aid that part of the work. I remember Steve Jobs had actually said that he went on a writing course. It's called uh, calligraphy, and like the major sounds really like not important. It's about the designing of characters. But when they came to actually designing those fonts for the Mac, his expertise was there. And I think what you said and what your grandfather had told you is actually really important. So that leads to my next question. What do you do um, outside of your major and minor?
Yeah. So um, I didn't start getting involved at university until basically I started getting involved at the start of COVID. I remember I applied to JSec. Uh, Again, shout out Sarah Diekmeyer. She told me to apply. Um, the little butterfly effect. Because I don't know, like I can't remember why I applied. I just knew that, it's like I wasn't really happy with, or I wasn't getting too much out of university, and I was starting to like take it a lot. I was starting to take it pretty seriously, and I'm like, okay, like I should probably get involved and uh, see what getting involved is all about. So yeah, I applied to JSec, and then COVID hit. I remember doing my JSec interview like during the first few weeks of COVID, and that was like really weird. But yeah, so that was I've been involved with JSec ever since then. I was director of speaker relations last year, and I did the mentorship program. And then this year, obviously, I'm president. Um, this year, I also got involved with uh, JMCC. So I like took the opportunity to apply all this knowledge about sustainability that I've gathered, and I got onto the sustainability delegation for JMCC. And what else? I also only up until recently I had a JMSB council seat on the CSU, which was like really interesting to see how the CSU works as well. So those were my extracurriculars for this year. It was a lot. I think I've dropped my JMSB council responsibility so I can focus more on JSEC because it was too much. But um, Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm gonna do next year. I'm gonna drop a few extracurriculars to specifically
Yeah, it
focus on
happens. Like you
JSEC.
just have to, you know, put yeah, it's hard. You want to do everything, but at the end of the day, like
Yeah.
it's not as satisfying when you have to like um, give something 50% when you want to give it 100%. So, prioritization.
Perfect. And so let's move on to the next topic, which is basically the entire idea of the Green Pod, which is your blog post.
Hmm.
First of all, can you please give us a brief summary as to what you wrote about?
Yeah, so um, I wrote about my journey as so like very shortly I just described my journey as a student and how I ended up where I am today as like president of a business sustainability student group. But the meat, the actual the important part of the article is more like what students should know about sustainability. So I feel like since I've, since I have like my sustainability minor and I've been involved with sustainability for a couple of years now at Concordia, I feel like it's almost uh, my responsibility to educate others about what I've learned. Like, it's really, I still like, I still get the question, like, what is sustainability? Like it doesn't trigger me anymore, but
but I think it's quite important to um to remain patient and remain hopeful because because we are passing down um information to future students, and those students will then do their uh, own thing, which is, I think, the next part that you wrote about. So keep on
yeah.
going.
So yeah, who I had in mind when I was writing this article, like you said, is just your average JMSB student who probably doesn't know that much about sustainability because it's something I think about. It's something people on Jsec are constantly thinking about is sustainability, and there's way more people that don't know about sustainability than that are like comfortable talking about it. And so, like I said, I wanted to kind of boil down the most important lessons and pieces of information that I think every JMSB student should know, whether you're interested in sustainability or not. These are like the 3 points that I highlighted. Well, it's only three, but there's a lot more. But I put 3 points that, regardless of who you are, what you're studying, what you want to do, this is what you need to know about sustainability. And you could call that my opinion, but at the end of the day, you can look at what's going on in the current world, and uh, it's what I think I want to like help students realize what is going on and what they should be focused on. Um,
because because sustainability should be like focused in each sector of the economy, because each sector of the current economy, of the world economy, will get deeply affected by the by the current climate crisis, if it keeps on going in this current trajectory.
Yes, exactly. So that's kind of uh, that's that's like the first point. So I'll go over like the first point, which is kind of what you're saying, which is um, like sustainability really should it's basically about like I would summarize it as like the existence of sustainability as a concept. So like you said, um, sustainability is should be in everything that is done, right? If something is not sustainable, it won't last really, like just by principle. Um, and it's funny, like in the blog post, I talk about like, you know, should JSEC exist? Like, is like JSEC's the business sustainability group. Like, is JSEC like I guess sustainable? And this was like it's on our website. It's like a quote on our website and something that one of the like Eric Warner, the old one of the old presidents, told me is like ideally JSEC wouldn't have to exist because ideally uh, sustainability would already be a part of everything that's done at JMSB, right? So you know there still should be a JSEC no matter what to like highlight what everything that's being done for like sustainability and for students who are super passionate about it. Like that's why JSEC exists to like bring people with those similar values and interests together. But um, like hypothetically, it shouldn't have to exist because like you know our sustainable finance event doesn't really need us to happen. It really could be just done by FISA itself. It could be like everything. Well, basically, you get what I'm trying to say is like sustainability should already be in everything. And so why do we need to even call something sustainable? Like it should already be baked into it at the beginning. So that's like the first concept that I think business students should understand is you don't have to go. Sustainability is not like an extra add-on. You don't. It doesn't need to be something that you have to go out of your way for. It should, by design, be a part of everything. Um, you know that was kind of the introduction point to the other 2 points.
I think I think his point that like sustainability should be involved in like in the in the things that are being created in the economy is is that from the past um, his part wasn't thought about. And I think that this generation, especially um, our generation, we are responsible of like of of repairing those past mistakes that had started since the first industrial revolution.
Yeah, exactly. You said it. Like it wasn't considered in the past, but now, like yeah, like now it needs to be considered. Like it's not even a question. Like things should not like sustainability needs to be a consideration in everything. And you know, I could go into what sustainability means when I say that, but that's a whole nother different conversation. Right now, what's important is just like sustainability just needs to be considered from the start and at every point. Uh, you know, for you know future generations, really, like that's who we're thinking about. Um, but yeah, that I hope to get that point across. And in the next point, I kind of just talked about how students, like, what does this mean? Like, what students can do with this? Like, how students can take this concept of sustainability and use it to their advantage. And you said it before, all sectors of the economy are being affected by climate change and new factors like transparency. Um, and it's not even just the different sectors, it's every part of an organization, HR, hiring practices, management, like how to keep your employees happy, finance, uh, there's so much about finance and sustainability, like are the
Yeah,
projects you're funding, like actually, like how are you measuring that? um
and the the finance in sustainability is really important because like people don't really think because when people think finance and sustainability, like they are like mostly thinking of the uh, uh, ESG component, which is environmental, uh, s- um, s- social, and governance part of the company, and but in fact, the biggest part is the fact that there is so much money in this world, and so that money needs to be targeted at the companies that that have plans of making their operations more
yeah.
sustainable, and so that's where the money needs to go to,
Mhm.
because those transfers of money which are being handled by banks are basically what will shape the future part of that company, and it will uh, it will create a very good example for those companies that don't get that
Yeah,
money, which is a huge
I
part
think that's
of
that's kind
like
of the practice of impact investing, right? Putting the money where it's going to have the most impact, and obviously still have an ROI. So, yeah, exactly. So, like, with this second point, I'm talking about how students can kind of differentiate themselves and gain I will really go very business here, but gain a competitive advantage on other people is, by knowing about sustainability in whatever job or economy you're working in. It makes you a really attractive candidate to hire, or to, um, to just be highlighted as someone who's important to an organization, because like all businesses and organizations will be affected by climate change and changing of consumer preferences and investors' demand for more transparency. So, the more you understand these concepts, the more value you can provide and differentiate yourself by as a student, or like a someone else. So, um, there's countless what I listed, like being knowledgeable about current pain points, solutions, frameworks, and technologies. Like those were the 4 points that I think you can boil like sustainability knowledge down into. Um, but yeah, that was the second point. So the
perfect.
third point
Yeah,
was really a more long-term view. So like going back to my minor, like of like and like starting university. like you said, no one really knows what they want to do when they start university. Um, I'm sure everyone can, you know, agree with that statement in some sense. And I certainly was like that. But there was a few things that I knew when I started university. What one was like, I wanted to help, uh, like I wanted to have a positive impact everywhere I went. And I also liked bringing people together. Like I think everyone can bring something to the table, a new perspective, and you can always improve whatever you're doing with more perspectives involved. So, um, I wouldn't consider myself like super extroverted, but I do love understanding like what people can bring to the table. And um, so this led me to like, trying to get the well-rounded education. And I really realized that, um, you know, we're like, we're the leaders of tomorrow, right? JMSB students will be CEOs and entrepreneurs who are making a difference in this world, who are making an impact. And there's actually quite a big lack of education in Concordia, unfortunately, about sustainability. Um, I think it's up to us as students to hold each other accountable and make sure we're being considerate of each other as well as like future generations. So there's so much going on right now about how this like the next 10 years are literally make or break for the earth. Like it's kind of
Yeah,
scary.
I know.
And the last point, I'm really just trying to highlight that, students the students of today will be decision makers and leaders of tomorrow. And so if you don't buy into this, if you don't really believe this idea that we all need to change, we're not gonna our kids and grandkids will not have as nearly as nice of a life as we did. So um yeah, I think it's a very like theoretical conceptual point, but I just wanted people to read it and think, you know, and hopefully change their mind if they were on the fence, or if they were like, they had half a heart, like one foot in the door of wanting to learn more about sustainability and one foot out. I wanted this last point to spark them and make them realize, okay, like we need to change. And the great thing is, like, the information and the technology is there. That's the thing, right? Is we have all the tools. We just need to get our hearts and our put our what is it? What's the expression? Uh, put your money where your mouth is, or something.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah. What do you think? Like,
By the way, guys, I am very sorry. My computer is on 1%, and I needed to take out my webcam. So I do apologize for the first podcast, because my computer has run out of charge. But yeah, yeah. So I do apologize for that part. For those of you who are listening on the podcast application, you don't need to worry. But yeah, so what I think is that like people, um, the problem when is that people need to change their habits, uh, be- and the problem with that is that this problem you cannot fix it with the snap of your fingers. It it really takes like long term effort, and it really takes collaboration with a lot of people, with a lot of cultures, with with just many who has like with people who you wouldn't collaborate with, but in this age you are forced to collaborate with them, so that we may all succeed in the in the in the future in the same way that we are currently able, well, uh, at the same rate that our parents and us were are able to live at.
Yeah, that's really like um, kind of the crux of this whole thing is like for me, it's hard to think about working in any job that or any company that isn't very conscious and trying to do better for the environment, like you said, because it's important to me that my like whoever comes after me, whether what it doesn't matter if they're related to me or not, whoever comes after me, like what I'm doing is gonna affect them, and like I'm very thankful for like having a good life, and I want the future generations to also have a good life. So um, yeah, I think yeah.
Perfect.
There's
I
the quote that I put at the end of my article sums it up pretty well. It's from Albert Einstein. You might have heard of this guy. The world will not be
Yeah,
destroyed by those who do evil, but by those who watch them without doing anything. And that's those people who are not doing anything. That's who I wanted to read this article and think, oh, okay, like, yes, I understand this concept of like, you know, being complacent is like kind of contributing to the issue, but the rest of the article like tells you how you can actually like why you can have added value from sustainability. Um, and so yeah, yeah, that's kind of just that was just my whole blog post. I wanted to write so much more, but that's kind of what I boiled it down to. It was really hard, to be honest. Like,
yeah.
I could write and talk a lot more about this and go into a lot of different details, but I think this was really good. This was a really good like introduction podcast, and yeah, I think
we we may have taken much longer, but than what we thought that sorry, than what we had planned. Um, but I think it was definitely worth
yeah,
it. Like that first introduction is probably like it's really
and we
important.
can always go back and like put timestamps for people.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Perfect. Nick, thank you so much for coming on the podcast on the Green Pod today. Um, and yeah, thank you for listening. We will be posting on YouTube and on uh, and on p- uh, and on the uh, Apple Podcast app, as well as Spotify for those of you who use Android. Okay. Thank you for coming, Nick.
Of course, Andrew. This was this was a great conversation, and I'm looking forward to doing more of these with you. I'm actually like, I actually really want to do another one ASAP. So, uh,
I'm just, for me personally, I'm just really sad that my computer lost
it's all
charge.
right. It's
I
the
mean,
first
that's a
one.
shame, but
These
it's
are the
fine.
things that you don't really plan for, or
Yeah.
like they just slip by. You don't really think about them. But yeah, yeah. Thanks, Andrew. This was awesome.
Perfect. Thank you so much for those who are watching and listening, and we will see you next
Yep.
time.
All right. Bye bye.